Let's see if it comes up today. I'm a little chaotic, but it's gonna be fine. Hey guys, I wanted to get on here and to, do my Fabulous Friday. So today is Fabulous Friday. So next week, don't be too upset. But next week we're going to be you're going to have some pre-recorded things because I have to, my niece is getting married and so I'm going out of town. So I had to do some things that are pre-recorded. So you can tune in. They'll still post at the same time. They just won't be live. So I'm just giving you a little warning. But they're fabulous projects and they're going to be featuring a new kit that we have. I haven't even opened it because I haven't filmed our things, but the kits that I did a kit before, that was like butterflies. This one's a new one. I'm going to be doing that one. It's I believe it's a sailboat themed one. So I'm going to be doing that because I love a good kit. Just like I love my paper pumpkin. My paper pumpkin will also be filmed for you so you can have access to that. Okay. All right. So, don't forget the designer series paper is still on sale, and let me go ahead and let's get started. Okay, so the designer series paper is still on sale. So, I've got another light that I pull up over here. Let's see if it'll hold it down. There we go. So the designer series paper is still on sale. This one I've featured all week, but all of the designer series papers are on, not all, almost all of them. This one I don't think is on sale. I can't quite remember exactly which ones are on sale, but I know that this one is on sale. This one is not. I believe this one is on sale. I'm not sure about Beauty of the Earth. The Sweet Symmetry, this glitter one is not on sale for sure. Europe Peach, I believe, is on sale. I mean, they have some really, really great paper. Look at the peach paper. I know that most of it is 15% off. Not all of it, but most of it. There are a few that are not. I think just because they're a little more expensive. This one here that I've shown you several times, the expressions, well, this glitter paper, obviously, this one tends to not be. Because any of these fancier papers, because they tend to be a lot more expensive. It's not the price, but they're just harder to find, harder to source, so those ones tend not to be. And this Expressions in Ink, which I've shown you before, my fave, it is not on sale, but I love it. It was featured the in the Paper Pumpkin kit, and so I actually really, really love it for that. So make sure you can pick up your designer series paper with using this host code. All right. All right. So let's get started. Okay. So what we have here, we're going to be doing this card here, which is featuring the designer series paper. I actually made a baby card for my sister. She wanted lion thank you cards. So I didn't actually use this stamp set, but I used a little different punch and stuff so I could still give her what she needed. But I thought, why not use that same design? And notice now, Soft Succulent is the color that they use in this particular stamp set. But I love to use Just Jade, because it's like a cousin. It's a brighter cousin. I have the colors here. Let me pull them out real quick. So this is Soft Succulent. And I might even have Mint to show you the difference. And this is the Evening Evergreen, which is like super dark. It's almost black. You know, it's such a rich color. I love it, but it's almost black. And then we have the Mint Macaron. So this Mint Macaron, and the Just Jade that I was telling you about, and the Just Jade. You see, the Mint Macaron is another color I could use instead of the Soft Succulent. I'm going to use the Just Jade because like they're all in a similar family. They all have that richness to it. So I'm just letting you know that instead of using the color on the back of the package of the designer series paper, they tell you what colors are in the package right here. They give you a list of what colors. They use Cajun Craze, Evening Evergreen, Mary Merlot, and Soft Succulent. But Just Jade is a great coordinator with this particular designer series paper is the word. Okay, so for this card, what I did was I took a piece. I have a couple examples here because I had a sample from my sister, and then, so patience for a second. So what I did is I took this piece of 4 inches by 4 1/4 is how long it is. And then I took a piece of 3 3/4 by 4 inches. Okay. And I know these don't match up. It's because I did it the hard way when I made it with my sister, is I cut out all these tiny pieces and then cut out all this. It was actually a nightmare. It was actually better if I just had glued a piece on, glued one large square on, and then ran it through the trimmer where I wanted to trim it. Because it's covered up by this little piece. This is a 1 3/4 by 4 inch piece of white. So it'll be covered up. So just so you know, the tip that I have, instead of doing what I did, which was make all these fussy pieces, take a piece of 4 1/4. I don't have a piece of this particular color, so you know, this particular DSP, and I'm not going to waste it. So this is 4 inches by 4 1/4, so it's a little bit longer than it is wide, but it still has the nice layer. And then so that makes this 3 3/4 by 4 inches long. And then you glue them down. Then you take your trimmer and you cut it. This is approximately, let's see, this is approximately 1.5 inches long. Is how this. So it would be like 1 3/8. It was fussy. It's better if you just gauge it, figure out where you want to cut, how much you want to cut from the bottom, and just cut without even measuring. So I'm just warning you, because this involves 16ths, which I despise using because it's just fussy to have. It's just fussy to have. It's just fussy when you measure in 16ths and 8ths. I try to keep everything at the quarter because, well, just like in real life, we want everything to be in quarters, and we don't want to fuss with the pennies and stuff. I mean, if I really need to make something that way, I will. And so it gives me a nice edge around this side and a nice edge around the bottom side. Sorry, this is what happens when I don't tape it down. Oh, there's some ink on that one. Okay, so see, what would have happened is I would have glued this whole square down on this piece, then ran it through the trimmer at approximately 1 1/4, 1 1/2, I don't know. I would have just run it through, and then I can glue it on here and get the same effect. And it was way less measuring, but I only figured that out after I had made 20 cards for my sister's baby shower. So, or baby, yeah, it was her baby shower thank you cards that she wanted. And let me go ahead and trim this one, because you're going to be covering up this gap. This is also another good way to save a little bit of your designer series paper. Like, I don't believe in saving it too long. I don't want to hoard it, like, you know, the good china that you never use. Go ahead and use the designer series paper, okay? So it puts this gap in the middle, but I want that gap because I'm saving it. I'm going to be covering it up with this piece here. So why would I want to waste a 1/4 inch? And 4 by 4, like basically a 4 by 3 1/4 square is like a little bit nicer, or 4 by 4 square is a little nicer to cut. So we're going to go ahead and use this. Let me put my glue back. So this one's almost dead. So I have my new one on standby. This one is almost dead. And you notice I'm using my hand sanitizer box that I made a few weeks ago, but that's okay. So I was like, I'll use that for this. All right, so now we get to a little bit of a messy part. So as you can see, I was practicing with my ink earlier because I wanted to make sure I could stamp that tiger. You'll want to practice a little bit on how to stamp the tiger and the cheetah, because the dots, in order to get them to line up, you have to kind of fuss with them a little bit to make sure you get everything covered. Like even here, there's a little spot that's not covered that kind of annoys me. I kind of wish that this was covered with stripes too, but that's okay. You know, I'll wing it. All right, so, oh, I have to stamp the cat first. All right, so this is kind of a large stamp, and I'm only gonna stamp part of the tiger. I'm not gonna stamp all of it. Oh, and if you have any issues, like notice how when I was doing this one here, I was practicing with both of the cats. And when I was doing this one, it was coming out like bubbly. So yeah, see, it's coming out a little bubbly. I think I need to clean it. Let me clean it and dry it off because I think it's still a little wet. But also when you get a brand new stamp, what happens is there's a little film over the top of your photopolymer stamps, especially. There's just this little slight film that comes off as you use it more. So the first few times you use it, it's a little bubbly sometimes. It doesn't come out smooth. So before I do it on my nice paper, I'm gonna dry it off. So I just stamped it. You see it's a little wet even. And so I just cleaned it off with my chamois. Let me stamp off and get all the wetness off. And let me stamp it here. Just to see. I'm only going to use part of the tiger. Okay, it's coming out now. All right, so let me get a clean spot. And oh, and because there's a large surface area on this particular stamp, you're going to want to make sure you have like a catalog underneath it, or you have a piercing mat, because it's a wide surface area. So when I don't have it, it tends to come out, let me show you, it'll come out more bubbly, even though I fixed it. See how it comes out just a little funny? It's a little bit better when you have a wide surface area and then you have the pressure. It just allows the ink to stick a little bit more. So, yeah. So there we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and press this down, lift this up. There we go, nice and saturated. And it got a little bubbly over here, but I'm not gonna redo it because I'm also gonna cover it with stripes. So you won't need to redo it. All right, so now we take our tiger head, and I'm sorry I'm doing this upside down, but it's a little hard to do this facing you. Okay, so I haven't perfected, especially one like this that layers. You have to get it just right so you get your edges of your tiger's face. Yeah, there we go. And not too far up, gets just what you need in there. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my tiger stripes, and this one, it goes, I got it backward last time. Ah, there we go. See, I had to play with it a few times. So this little hook here comes down, okay? I haven't tried it with the walking tiger that's part of this stamp set, but I will eventually. So I want to make sure these stripes come out pretty close to the edge here without going over. There we go. And I have a layer, obviously, to catch any of that excess. See, there we go. Nice little tiger. And then my favorite stamp of this set is the You Are Fierce, because it's just, I don't know, I just love it. And it sounds like you're fabulous, so I love it. Okay, let me make sure. Okay, hold on, my ink was a little thick. Yeah. This, I just emptied the ink because it was a little bit too thick and then I closed it. So I think it's getting, coming out funny again. Like last time I kept having that splotch in the middle. There we go. Okay. So, you are fierce. And I just centered it. I didn't want to do too much, too crazy, but pretty enough. There we go. So cute. All right. So, and I don't think I'm going to be using that again. No. All right. So let me clean this off before I put my cards on top of it, because I will do that. I try to clean off as I go because I have ruined a nice card that I've made just by setting it down on a wet stamp. And that extra ick was still on there. All right. So then super simple. Like I said, it was the basic layers. It looks complicated because you have these extra layers here, but it's not as complicated. And I added a little stamping, just basic stamping paper without any fancy embellishments, because I think this stamp and this paper speak for itself. So why add more? You know, like why add extra stuff? You know, like it just doesn't make sense to me to add more than is necessary. Okay, oops. All right, and then we're just gonna line it up with the edge, and it saves a little bit of paper. It still has a great effect. And you know, I could add some rhinestones to it or some other. I'm gonna leave it as is. I don't feel like I wanna add anything else. Other than on the inside, maybe, I think I'll add some tiger stripes on the inside. Just a little edging of it down on the side would be kind of fun. Yeah, I think I'll do that in the corner and see how it looks. Why not? Because, you know, I always like the inside of my card and my envelopes to have a little something nice on them. Yeah, and so it's just a little something to add, and no one would know that it's technically the body. It's just adding the extra stripes on the inside just to have a little something. And I don't think I'll add that to the envelope because there's a little too much space that would be obvious. This one's perfect because it's in the corner, but I won't do it to the envelope. I think it'll, I don't know how I would get it just right. I guess I could do it the same. I can't do it on the back of the envelope, but I could do it on the front corner of the envelope. So we'll put this inside, get my little You Are Fierce going on. Just, you know, a little something inside, a little treat to have inside. There aren't extra tiger stripes. There are extra leopard spots as far as the stamp set goes, but there are not extra tiger stripes. I could have also added some of the greenery in the inside. You see there's just the one tiger stripe, and I'm actually trying to figure out how you would use this one here, or is it only usable here? I'm in the process of trying to figure it out. It's a process. So it's not a super complicated stamp set. It just feels like it because you have these extra pieces you got to do, but it's actually not that bad. All right, so You Are Fierce is away and done. Then the last one we have is using the Just Jade again. So remember, this is Just Jade. But this time we're going to use a Just Jade card base. And you'll be surprised, it's actually a standard one going open. I forget why I had to use it. There was a reason why I needed a Just Jade card base that was like this. And so, yeah, so that's the deal. So, all right, so what I'm going to do, oh, I don't need this anymore. We're done with this. All right, so what I did is I decided to do a simple card, but it'll have a large impact. I took a 2 1/4 inch by 5 1/4 inch. Let's double check because you know me, I love, and look at me with my old school teacher. Yeah, 5 1/4 by 2 1/4. And I'm going to be using my favorite punch, which is the stamp punch. And I don't know if it's because I love cards and I send them all the time, but I love using this stamp punch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feature this designer series paper, but a little differently. So I want to try and get some good tigers in here. So let's see. Yeah, I can get 2 here. Let's see. Oh, and I might be able to get this one here. Okay, so let me get this one. No, it's going to cut that one. I liked getting that one in the corner over there. I'll find one. Let me go ahead and cut here. I like this one here. Okay. And see, we're going to layer them right here. And then I'm going to feature this one in the center, this Cajun Craze one. Let me see if I can get one more. Oh, I can get this one here. Or, yeah, I think I want one sitting straight. So I think I'll take that one. And so, but it's not centered. The other one is kind of centered. So I think it's good that they're off center. All right, so what we'll do is we'll put the yellow one in the center, and then we'll put the Cajun Craze ones on the top and the bottom, so they're a little bit off. I don't like how they're, like this one is pretty centered, and this one's off to the side. No, that's good, because the faces are centered, and this one's off to the side, looming over. So, I mean, super simple card overall, but it has a large impact. Whenever I start layering more than 1 or 2 things, I feel like it's a fancier card, because on my Mondays, and look at this would be a great one to feature too, like I could feature this and then these on top as well. But I think I prefer having the Cajun Craze, and I wanted to show you that yes, this is this is my favorite piece, I think, from the card set, from the stamp designer series paper. Only because it's not tiger related. Now this one is going to be a little harder to use for me. It doesn't mean I can't use it. It's just because it's a background. So how can I use it appropriately and still get an impact for what I want? Well, this is how. And actually, you know what I'm going to do? Before I glue all this down, I'm going to stamp my You Are Fierce in black in the corner. Just because if I make a mistake, I can always cover it up. I didn't want to add anything else. There we go. I wanted it just in black, nothing crazy, just a basic You Are Fierce sentiment. And I did that first before I put the designer series paper, because I always have a ton of cardstock, but I don't always have a ton of designer series paper. And so before, if I trash this and it had extra blotches on it, I want to make sure I have something, like a backup, just things you learn, tips you learn over time. So there's no stamping on this one. The hard one was the first one. I tend to like to do the hard one first because it needs a little bit more glue right here. Don't want it coming up. I made a ton of crafts for my niece's wedding. I'll share those crafts with you guys after the wedding because I wanted to keep that a little bit of a surprise. I'll share the pictures after the wedding. All right, so now we said we wanted the yellow one in the middle, and I think I want this one at the bottom. Yeah, I want this one at top. And all I'm doing is I just took the punch. I just measured how big the punch was. And even though it's DSP on DSP, this is a background DSP. So it actually, designer series paper is what DSP means. So because it's a background designer series paper, it almost looks like just plain cardstock. I saw another lady that actually had used, she had punched out little rectangles to the center, but it was just a little too fussy to me. I'd rather just use my straight punch because I love this punch. I hope they never get rid of it because I can't get enough of it. I just can't. I love it too much. right, and so we'll go on the back of this one. And then I'm going to show you a trick to make sure you get them centered. Always do your top and your bottom first, because then you can center this in the middle. If you start with the top and go down, it's very likely that you'll center this top one great and it'll look fantastic. Then you'll center this one and then you'll realize you had a gap bigger than you planned. So that's why you always want to do the top and the bottom first, okay? So let me turn this around a little so I can get it just right. Remember, if you comment and share my video, you will have a chance to win these, like in a drawing. Okay. And so, and then I'll put this one to the side. So I guess this could have been a Monday card, but I just wanted to feature this designer series paper. And so let me get this one to the bottom and centered. It's a little off to the side. That one is not perfectly centered either, as much as I want, but I think I've pushed it down. Yeah, but I want to at least have these top ones centered. You see, because now the gap, when I put the gap in the middle, fill the gap in the middle, I can get it just right. Hopefully that is not too crooked. That one is like totally crooked. I'm gonna have to pick that one up. It is actually really crooked. All right, so just be gentle when you pop that off, and you can usually peel up your dimensionals. Just gently use your fingers to slowly pull it away. There we go. Just be gentle when you do it. I hope I don't have to fix the other one. I might have to do that too. These are like super, super sticky. Like all the little tops are coming off. So when I'm ripping off one, it's pulling off the top of another. Okay. So there we go. Sorry about that. I thought I was on airplane mode. All right, so there we go. That one looks much better. Now it's centered because it was just really off. And this one down here, I'm gonna do the same here and fix it, because I was trying to center it with that one and then they all come out funny. Just be gentle when you do it so you don't tear too much of the designer series paper. Yeah, there we go. There we go. I never toss it. I always try to make it work because I don't like to waste. My mom always taught me to just make the best. My grandmother too. Like, you know, that any mistake on any craft project, sewing project, whatever, was always fixable. Always fixable. Okay. All right, let me get this one centered down here with the right amount of layering. There we go. It was a little too close to the bottom. Okay. So this maybe should have been a Friday card because it's so fussy with me today. But perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. All right, and then I'm gonna center this one here. So the gap between the top and the bottom is larger, but that's okay. But it'll look centered. It just gives the right, see, I want to make sure that the top, come on. I want to make sure that gap, I wanted this gap in between actually a little bit smaller, but you know, that's okay. I should have pulled these down a little bit, but that's okay. I didn't know. Live and learn for it. This is the first time I've done this card. So, you know, live and learn. So here are our two cards. Remember, this is the In the Wild designer series paper. And you can get everything you need at FabulousStamper.com and click on shop, and you can order dimensionals, paper, and remember this paper is 15% off right now, so take advantage. But how cute is that? Just a fun little card. So I hope you have a great day. Thanks for tuning in, and yeah, I hope you have a great day. Okay, thanks so much.